So under these conditions, the prices of oil were plummeting to all-time low, and nobody is buying. And even if it's cheap, it was about 8 shekels, which is $2 or less than $2, and nobody has those $2 even to buy it. I mean, farmers are cultivating and pressing, just feeding themselves and families, and a lot of farms actually not harvested. So you can see the devastation that the farming industry was having. So I thought, okay, well, this is not something that would be nice. This is something that really has to be done. This is something where fair trade can really have an impact on these people's lives. I started at the beginning. There were some NGOs who are doing some relief work and actually buying some olive oil as a form of relief, and exporting it through solidarity organizations. Through Oxfam Belgium was buying from one of these organizations. And I wanted to talk to these people about the concept of fair trade, that we can do more than just a solidarity, but rather organize the farmers to produce according to fair trade standards and offer it to markets that have bigger than what the solidarity market or support can do. Solidarity can carry the message, but there is a market there, out there, and market forces that would be interested in this if we can do it right. But a lot of the people that I really talked to were just interested in the market. I mean, they want to do the homework that needs to be done on the ground to organize fair trade. And so they asked me, well, if I have friends, if I know people in the US, they would be happy to sell them olive oil. Well, I know you would be happy to sell them olive oil. Everybody would be happy to sell them olive oil, but that's not how it works. So what I did is I decided when all of these dialogues didn't lead anywhere, I decided that I want to talk to the farmers instead. So I started by talking to farmers. I know some of the press owners who are interested in the industry, mobilizing a core group, and from that core group we started talking to village councils and asking them to organize the farmers for me to meet with them. And actually organized 6 workshops at the time, in 2004, where each workshop was for a cluster of villages. I would go sit with the village councils of these villages and ask them to invite their farmers, those who were interested, and actually they would go and set up a meeting and announce in the loudspeaker of the mosque that there is a meeting about selling olive oil to Europe and North America, and those who are interested to come to this meeting, blah, blah, blah. And before you know it, most of those meetings were really well attended, as you can imagine. People can't sell their olive oil, and there is a meeting about selling olive oil. But I mean, they were well attended, but for us these meetings were about educating, about raising awareness. I believe in that knowledge is a form of power, and the main thing is I wanted to give them more knowledge about fair trade and their rights, their entitlement in the fair trade concept and system, and what they need to do, their responsibilities towards it, and their benefits from it. And we had a form for them to fill out, which asks for a lot of information about their environmental practices, their social practices, their pay, their wages, whether they have a small farm, family farm, and their handling methods, about storage, about pressing, about the farming method, all of these, which was a great collection of data that helped us from there set up the program for fair trade organization certification and organic certification and quality handling. Because when we started, we were only getting about 15% of the olive oil from the farmers extra virgin, maybe by default. I mean, some of them are, not working systematically, and that would not be viable for export. So today, after we had a quality program, today we produce about 80% of the farmers' production is extra virgin. So that's a great change in the quality. And so in 2004, we set up 13 from these workshops. We set up 13 cooperatives. And the 13 cooperatives met, and we called for a meeting in Jenin in January of 2005. And that was the founding meeting for the Palestine Fair Trade Association, which became a network of all these 13 cooperatives. And from there we started expansion and building new cooperatives. One thing we noticed is that from traditional practices that even though the farming practice is a family tradition, and all of the family, the man and the woman, work in the farm, and so are their kids, but most of the members of the cooperatives were men, the vast majority of them. So that would have turned into a men club mostly if we were just limit ourselves to the men membership. But it wasn't like, okay, I mean, most NGOs, development, they demand women representation in somewhat abrupt. I can't go to the farmers and say, tell them, oh, hey, send me your wife to the meeting. So what we've done is, no, we thought creatively of looking at other products where women actually traditionally produce and process, and that has potential of being marketed in the West through fair trade channels as well. So we started producing products like couscous, za'atar, sun-dried tomatoes, pickled olives, dried olives, and now we're moving into tapenade, and so on. So these are organized, women organized to produce these products. The raw material is sourced from the same farmers network, but women source it, and we help them source it, and they process it, and we take it from the women and export it. So the women are part of the structure. We have about 200 women members right now in the PFTA, and actually in our last election in May, the highest votes was a woman who got elected to the board. And we have 6 women cooperatives. They are represented according to the same criteria. Every 25 members is represented in the General Assembly by 1 member. That's how our farmers cooperatives are represented. Our farmers cooperatives are between 15 to 75, I think, the largest cooperative. And our women cooperatives are between 5 is the smallest to 36, something like that, in the general membership. Also setting up Canaan Fair Trade. Olive oil is a very tricky commodity. It needs a lot of meticulous attention to quality, and it needs a lot of industrialization to really compete on high quality. And we want the quality to be superior for us to succeed in the marketplace. We understand that our conditions does not allow for us to produce cheap products. We have somewhat traditional industry and developing economy, but we are tied to an economy of Israel that's very advanced economy, and we are tied to their currency. We spend in shekels. So the buying power of the dollar coming into Palestine is very weak in comparison to the local economy. So the farmer is totally dependent on rain-fed crops because we don't have access to water, and we have many other obstacles within the local practices because of the challenges that we face that lead the farmer need to have more return on their product than to be able to compete on price. So we needed to have high quality product for us to be successful in the market. So that's why the idea of Canaan is that to be a commercial enterprise that is looking at these issues professionally, and to be able to give the safety net to the marketplace of reliability and consistency in the product that's being exported, and offer that then safety of a market, long-term market, to the small producers. And so Canaan was a model to develop as such, and certainly we succeeded in this model, and the business grew, and by 2008 we were able to recruit some investors from sustainable trust funds, such as shared interest from the UK, extended a $635,000 loan for us to build this facility in Philippines. Bank of Palestine also extended $720,000 loan for us for the same facility, and a year later we qualified for export credits with Triodos Sustainable Trust Fund from Holland and Alterfin from Belgium. Currently we have about $1.5 million worth of credit line between those two sustainable trust funds that allow us to take the money during harvest, pay the farmers, get the olive oil whilst the quality is high, because if the farmers take it home and store it in plastic tubs and or in high temperatures or don't care for it as professionally, then the olive oil after a month loses its qualities. So we take it from them from the press and we care for it right away, and we separate it based on characteristics and quality and varieties, and the fact that we were able to generate a very diverse market between high quality premium olive oil, variety olive oil, and extra virgin olive oil for ingredients, and virgin olive oil for ingredients in cosmetics, allowed us to service the farmers with all of the olive oil they produce, but give them premiums on qualities, so they are more invested in the quality program and more responsive to it because they are rewarded on the quality. So the whole thing works well together. I'd like to mention that the furniture you see in our showroom here has a Portland connection that we are very proud of. This is Tropic Salvage furniture, and I came last time I was in Portland. I was introduced to Tropic Salvage at 10,000 Villages Banyan Tree now, and it was just a wonderful furniture. It was very striking to me. And when I learned it's also fair trade and what it's doing into the luggage industry in Indonesia and the jobs that it's creating in Indonesia, I said, well, when we started, finished our qualification for the loan and get to really build the building, I called Diane. I said, give me the give me the contact of that company. And we commissioned with them some of these shelves were specially designed for us, and some of their beautiful designs were just the perfect fit for our showroom. And our doors in our offices are from them, our desks and chairs are from them, and our benches in the press where the farmers sit and wait for their batch to be pressed is from them. And even the farmers are so appreciative of those desks. They are comfortable and they are distinguished. They keep telling me, where did you get these from? So this is a piece of Portland thought and community is in our showroom, and we tell all our visitors about it, and of course our farmers about it, and everybody excited about it. We've done both certification for organic and fair trade. We, at the beginning in 2004, we started, okay, we want to do fair trade, so the first thing is to call these fair trade organizations and see what we need to do for us to become fair trade organization or fair trade company. And with our dialogue with Flow, at the time mainly Flow, it was clear to us that Flow is not, they don't have fair trade guidelines or standards for olive oil, and it was clear they're not going to do one anytime soon. That the way they work is that we have to demonstrate a market demand, a sizable market demand, not just a market demand, a sizable market demand for them to invest in developing standards. Well, we can't do it if we don't have standards to produce fair trade olive oil. Anyway, that didn't stop us. What we did is that we studied the generic fair trade standards, the general fair trade standards that Flow has, which is on their website. So we adopted those and we printed them, translated them, sent them to the farmer. This is what you need to do, and then looked at the Flow model, how they develop product standard.